The first thing I want to address is apologies for the last video where it sort of ended without me saying goodbye or anything. Basically, the reason was that in the end, I decided to cut this into 2 episodes where the Fulham and Wolves game were going to be 1 episode, and then the Bournemouth game, the Tottenham game, maybe the Burnley game as well will be in today's episode. It depends, like I said this in the previous video, right, where basically the length of the video and how many matches are in the video are just dictated by what happens in the episode. Like, I don't really have like a set. There's always going to be definitely one, and in almost every case, there'll probably be two as a minimum. Sometimes it'll be 3 matches, sometimes it'll be two. Sometimes it could be closer to half an hour, sometimes it could be over an hour. It just depends. Really, though, it's going to be probably 2 matches around that 45-minute mark. For most of the matches in the season, it's going to be about that. And then the January transfer window, the summer transfer window, and the end of season, of course, those are all going to be a bit different. But for the most part in the season, it's going to be around 2 matches and 45 minutes. But again, it completely depends on what happens. If one game's really boring, for whatever reason, we might only show bits of it. And then we'll probably get 3 games in those situations. And then, like in the last episode, there might be 2 matches that have got a lot of tactical changes, a lot of discussion points. And in those times, it's going to probably be the 2 that we're going to get in the 1 episode. So just thought I'd address that quickly. And also, I've not really decided yet on how many matches I'm going to do. I don't think I want to do all 38 league matches. Maybe that's what you want to see. I actually don't know. I do need some feedback on this specifically. Do you want me to skip some matches and get a bit further into the season? Or do you like the fact that the tactical stuff is being done so much, and we want to see as many of those as possible before we get more players in January, before we get to the end of the season and that kind of stuff? Do let me know on that. The way this is probably going to work is that it won't be quite like this every season. Once we sort of settle down on a few different plans that we've got for different formations and setups, it'll be a lot easier to go into a match in the second season and go, okay, they're playing this. This is our like default. This is our base setup against it. So we're going to apply this. Then we can make little tweaks within it. But like this season, it's still figuring out what are the solutions going to be against certain setups. And then next season will be a case more of really already knowing what we're going to do. As soon as we see their formation and we roughly think what their roles is going to be like, we'll already have a plan to go with that. And then we'll try and analyze and make tweaks as we go. And hopefully we'll get a better team every year as well, because we need some better players in certain positions. Right, okay, so today's episode, we have got Bournemouth at home and then Spurs at home. We had 2 away games in a row. Now we've got 2 home games in a row. It's going to be those 2 matches. Bournemouth play 4-2-3-1, and it's going to be quite similar to Fulham. So what we're going to do for this game is essentially copy what we ended with against Fulham. If you remember rightly, in that last episode, we went to like a flat 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1 kind of shape, and we engaged them high, and it was very, very good to go 2-0 up. But then once they started getting attacks, that sort of gap between the defensive midfield line was quite big, and they started creating chances, and that really did hammer us a bit in the second half. And they nearly came back and got a draw, to be honest with you. So we're going to go with how we ended it. And just to recap on that, this is how it finished up against Fulham, and we saw out the game very well. Okay, so this is how the tactic ended against Fulham. We had the back 4, which is exactly the same in both. That's all good. Stacks playing as a DM here. We then had 2 central midfielders as pressing CMs to go and really be aggressive on those DMs when they're playing out from the back. But the reason we had them here was that once they then got into our defensive third, they acted a bit more like orthodox central midfield players, and we ended up with a slightly better structure once they beat the press. But we still forced them to one side. We still tried to force it into this area here, so their right centre-back and their right back. And then Gnonto was starting high in the goal kicks for them, and then he was dropping to get a bit of support on Paulo Henrique. And that was the final part of it, right? Was just that it wasn't just this. It was us doing this allowed us to get a bit of extra support here, but in particular on this side. So Gnonto being a tracking winger is perfect. That's the perfect role for him, because starting as a winger and a tracking winger, he's going to be high and pressing high from the goal kicks to restrict that ball to the fullback. But then once the press is beaten, he can then go give a bit of support to Paulo Henrique if he is left 1v1, which he might be, because there is no pivot this side. Of course, there is no CDM. We have one. And Bissouma's a pressing central midfield player, so he might not be quite in the vicinity to help as much as we would like. So I think that balanced it off pretty well. So the next time we play against a 4-2-3-1, that's how we're going to start. And that is right now, of course, because we have got Bournemouth, and they are going to play this system against us. Okay, so just to recap what we're going to be doing here today, and the plan we're going to look for, what's going to be important to watch out for is, are the 2 8s or central field players here, are they going to be aggressive enough in the press? That's the first thing to look out for. Does the striker offset? Those are the first 2 questions we've got, right? After those 2 questions are answered, is Gnonto as the tracking winger, is he high enough to prevent this? this scenario here. Is he high enough to prevent a pass out to this side, straight to the fullback? And then the last question of we're looking just at this third, really, when they're playing out from the back. And then the last thing is the winger sat off? Are we getting all these things? If the answer is yes, that's brilliant. We've got exactly what we want. If the answer is no, we need to identify which one of those it is and see what tweaks we can make further. Or maybe we have to accept one of them isn't going to quite work the way that we want. It depends on what we see in this match. And once we get past all of those things, the last thing I want us to watch out for is if the ball goes to the centre-back that we want it to go to, and the number 10 jumps out, who moves on to this player here? That's the very, very important thing here. Does the DM go up? I'm going to guess maybe not, and it might be a bit of an issue. So those are things to watch out for in this game early on. And let's see how we get on against Bournemouth. It's going to be a close game, I think. We are at home, so we should win the game, you would expect. But again, like I said to you before, right? Progress isn't linear, and I don't care if we lose the game, but we get all of this correct, or at least we make enough tweaks where we feel like we've got it settled. I'm all right with that. It's about making progress to the end goal, you know, the end vision of what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to create towards. Right, so let's see how this goes in the game against Bournemouth at home. Let's see how they line up against us. As I mentioned, they're going to play 4-2-3-1. I'd already had a quick look at what they were going to do before I started recording, so it's going to be exactly the same as Fulham, which is interesting. In terms of the expected tactic, 4-2-3-1, expected tactical style is going to be wing play. Be interesting to see if they do play out as much as we think. They might not play out, which will then ruin everything, won't it? The team is going to be pretty much exactly the same. Leif Davis is back, though, incidentally. He is going to be back and available to be selected. He's going to be available, and he's going to go straight on to the bench for us. Do you know what? Let's chuck him in. Straight into the first team, Leif. Welcome back, mate. Welcome to the club. Welcome back to the club. Let's get into the game and see how we get on against Bournemouth against the 4-2-3-1. So it is a 4-2-3-1. We're going to say to the boys, we'll say, got them to it for the fans. Gonna skip past the interviewer again before the match starts and get into the game. That's going to be their team, as you can see there. In case you skipped past it a second ago or just missed it, that is going to be the team for this game. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so they just went long from this goal kick. They didn't even try to play out, which was interesting. I thought they were going to try and play out against us. Look at the numbers here. So we've got, I mean, he's 1v1 and the fullback staying off. That's going to be like this. That's absolutely fine. We need to make sure that we're stopping the retain as it goes round. So he's going to go past that player. That's okay. Now, my central field player here, I'm hoping is going to try and stop or getting back around. We're not really getting enough pressure now. It's going to be 2v1, is it? Can we get any pressure on him from the fullback and winger? We do. We do that pretty well as well. We've done a big switch here to the right-hand side. Basuma's going to get it. Right, Gnonto. Okay, this is what we need to see. So, Gnonto's in this scenario. In my principles, in my philosophy, right, is half-space runs here. So, he can make this half-space run. We can either pass him the ball if he gets through perfectly on time. If he makes the run and drags this player in and the defence all drops, Gnonto can go inside. Or Gnonto here can go on the outside, and he's got two players running in space here. So ideally here, I would expect Gnonto to try and beat him on the outside and hopefully whip in a cross, like along the floor. When I say cross, I mean like basically it's like a pass along the floor to these two on-running central midfield players. Let's see what he does. Well, it was none of the above was the option that he went for there. And yeah, now the physio's coming on the pitch. And on Stack, he has it after the corner. He's going to switch it back to the goalkeeper. I don't know if he really wanted that, but he's going to get the ball anyway. He's going a bit too far from his goal, but we've got away with it. Paulo Henrique has it on the right-hand side. Drives inside to Basuma. Goes past one, loses the ball. Paulo Henrique is going to get there back, though. He's going on the right-hand side. He's going to go through towards goal. He's got to score this, surely. Keeper saves it. Basuma's got to score it, surely. Oh, he missed it again. I'm going to go to attacking mentalities. Before I change anything, I want to see if the current changes I've got will work fine, but on attacking. Henrique is going to play it into Baranzi. He gets a touch into Gnonto. Ref? What? Okay, let's watch this in slow motion together, right? Let's watch Dominic Calvert-Lewin minding his own business. He's not even looking towards the ball. That is how much he has had no interest in this. Let's see if there was any contact here or if he just went down himself. It looked like there was some contact when I first looked at it, but I wasn't watching the whole time. Is there contact? Probably not. Okay, they just counted us here, and I just want to see exactly how they ended up with the ball. So Leif Davis gets it here, making his debut, of course, or his second debut of the club. Stack turns it over okay. Then Leif Davis is going to come across to the wide area. I just want to watch it. They get through here. Get through there okay. So he frees this right here. So in this scenario here, he's got 1v1, but we've got decent cover, right? The centre-back is here in an emergency, but we've got a midfielder who's going to be coming back to make a 2v1. We actually win the ball back anyway. Well done, Leaf Davis. And Stack, Basuma's going to get it and switch it out to ID. This actually might be a highlight for us, incidentally. Oh, no, maybe not now. We turned it back over. There's a lot of chaos happening here. They get in behind on the right-hand side. They go towards goal. He's going to drive towards goal, but it's a little backheel interception. And a massively risky switch pass that's just gone straight. I don't know if I like this attacking mentality. That is an absolutely brilliant tactical foul by Gononso. Love that from you. Okay, let's think about in possession here, right? Let's think about it. I want it to go to the wingers and then utilize the attacking midfield players, right? That's what I want. So let's go to progress through. Let's go to the flanks. And what we want to do is try and get the ball to the wide players, and the wide players to try and release it to the midfield players. That's what we want to see. But I don't want to take like dribble more. I don't want to make them go to dribble less and all that kind of stuff. I want them to still be wingers at times. So I don't really want to make it. I don't want to make it too predictable where it's like the wingers only get the ball and just pass it, and then the attacking midfield players only running behind. I don't want to do that really. So I'm going to keep the rest of this the same for now. We're just going to try and force. We're just going to try and force the picture a tiny bit more by going down the flanks in our progression area. We're going to go with that. Passing to feet is good because what we should see here, we should see progress through the flanks, go into feet, and then it can go into space after this point, right? That's what we want to see. We'll go to the fullbacks as well. So should go fullbacks, wide players, then straight into the number 10s. That is what I'm hoping to see now. Yeah, we're really starting to dominate possession now. We're up to like 60% possession. It feels a bit more like a Bielsa game since I've gone to these changes. They've not really had any goal kicks for me to show you. Every time they get a goal kick, they're going long anyway. So we're not really going to get a chance to see pressing shape in action, at least in the final third too often. Gononto goes through, it's been cleared away. Are we going to win this against Evan Nilsson? Oh my goodness me. It's like a pass interference foul from the cornerback in the NFL. And is it going to be a card is the question. Hopefully it's only yellow. It wasn't an elbow or anything, was it? It was just a little push ref. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. There was no problems here. Start off with their play to the left-hand side. We've got a good shape here. So what I want to see, though, is like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Calvert-Lewin being here because what he's doing, he's on the pivot now, but he's forcing it the way we want. So what I should see now, though, is once this goes across, he should abandon the pivot player and come across. It does. They've attacked quite direct there, so that's also fine. They didn't get the chance to retain, or they chose not to retain anyway. We're going to win the ball here on the counter. So it's going to Calvert-Lewin. Are we going to get half-space runs? We are. Not quite the way we designed, but it's okay. Basuma gets it. He's going to link up, is he, with the Gononto. He's gone on the outside. They've sort of just switched positions there. A bit of rotations from them. Gononto into Leaf Davis on his debut. Baldanzi turns it over. I don't believe it. And now they're going to counter. This game's been absolute chaos, by the way. There's not been much control, which isn't what we want to see. And now it's finally going to go down the other end. And Stack wins it for us. Now we're going to counter. Maybe we should take counter off. Maybe it's just being a bit too chaotic. It's a little too chaotic for my liking. It's gone way too much on the chaotic end of the spectrum as opposed to the control. But Gononto's going to go through here. He's not quite 1v1. He's going to get it wide, though. He's going to go towards his fullback, is he? He's going to get tackled. He stays on it, battling for the ball. They're just fighting, and Gononto stays it. He's going to play it into Basuma. Basuma, somebody drop out the edge of the area. Stack's going to get it. He's going to shoot. It's going to be saved, and it's going to be a corner. Right, goal kick then for Bournemouth. They're going to go long. So all of our instructions don't really apply. They do apply, by the way. Our pressing, trap, and everything still applies. It'll just be more from open play and sort of switches of play, like switches across the back anyway, and retain options rather than just the goal kicks. But Anzi wins a great tackle in the middle of midfield. And I wonder if that helps having him in central midfield and being a presser rather than an AMC as a tracker. In some of those scenarios where it's like towards the middle third, entering towards our own third. Ribiero's going to switch it across. We're seeing a lot of these now, which I'm not a big fan of because I don't really want Henrique here on the ball as much. Gononto's got Basuma. It's not quite how we'd like it to be. So he's going to go on the outside. He's got options behind him. He's going to cross an early one into the big striker. The keeper doesn't get beat in the air, though, so that's going to probably be that for half-time. And you would expect, wouldn't you? That's got to surely be it. They're not even going to try and play short either. I mean, that's fine. If this is going to happen from time to time, you just got to make sure you're set up for this as well, which we were not. They've gone straight over the top of the press. They've gone through, they've shot, and luckily for us, it's gone wide, but that was a bit dangerous. Okay, half-time. We actually controlled that game really, really well. I don't think we could have done much better, to be honest with you, in this first half, except for that one long ball at the end. Okay, I'm going to change the wingers. I'm going to change wide players again to wingers, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask them to not make any runs forwards. I'm going to ask them to essentially just hold their position wide and look to play balls, passes in behind to the on rushing, attacking midfield players. Take more risks, more direct passing. We're going to try this. I just want to try this, really. This is more of an experiment. You know, in a game where the result is not in the bag, and in fact, we're not even winning, are we? It's 0-0. We played well, but that's it. Like, playing well does not guarantee anything here. Go more direct as well. Let's go with that, right? You see why players doing that. I'm going to put him up as an attacking field player. So that's going to be roughly more the shape now. It's going to be more like almost like a 3-2-4-1 type of shape. We're going to go Basuma attacking field player there. And let's see how that goes. Let's see if we can get anything out the lads from doing this now. Okay, I've gone to full match temporarily. I just want to see the difference we have in our shape here when we play out. So Stack's going to get it. We're going to try and hopefully find it straight to the wide player. So there we go. He's got it. Now, Basuma could really done with you making a running behind, or starting, not really running behind, but starting to move forwards here. This is good football by Bananzi. Now, here we go. Aydin's going to get it. He's going to drive at the defence. He's going to go into the box here. That was the right decision to do as well. Like, so although he's got dribble less on, the team has got run at defence on, and that was the right thing to do in that situation, right? There's no reason why you wouldn't do that there. Even if you're a very slow winger and you're asked to not really travel with the ball, you would do that there. That's the whole point. You go back to the philosophy that I was talking about. If that is the scenario, and the fullback isn't there, or the space is wide, in this scenario here, you want to try and take it wide, take it into the box in the wide area, and then try and get yourself as narrow as possible. And the far side wide player, very crucially, should be entering at the far post, and he is a little late, but it's fine. Okay, another attack for us here. Vanderbilt's going to get it, and he's going to, I mean, I don't know, he could go here. Nobody else really wants it, apparently. So we're getting pressed a bit too. I mean, I really should try and affect that, because that's the second time that we've had to go long because of the way they've pressed us, which is them basically doing what we want to do to them. But Troy goes through, he gets his shot blocked. Yeah, so playing out here, they are going basically player for player, and they are stopping us being able to play out. What I might do is, I'm telling you what to do here. Oguz is going to go back to the winger position. I'm going to make him a wide forward again. I shall balance that out a tiny bit. I'm going to move Leif Davis to defensive midfield straight away. Now, some people have asked this before, right, is that what is the point of certain roles if you can just have them be put in those positions, like playmaker wingback, for example? Why can't I just put him... Why do I need that role when I could just put him there? Well, it depends on the playing out shape, right? So, at the moment, Leif Davis is playing as a playmaking wingback, and then once the ball gets passed in towards the sort of middle third area, he then becomes a DM. But the way they're pressing us, that's becoming too easy for them to press us in the way that we're trying to get out. So what we're going to do instead now, Leif Davis is just going to go in straight away and be a deep line playmaker from the DM position. As soon as the goalkeeper gets the ball now, he's just going to go narrow. But if we do that, there's probably not going to be enough width here to play to the left-hand side if we wanted to. So I'm going to move Oguz down. I could even change his role again here. We'll go winger with him, and we'll see how that transpires for us. Again, same principle, right? It's still like a 3-2-4-1. Nothing's really changing here too much. It's the same exact principle. The only thing that I'm changing in this whole thing is I'm getting Leif Davis to just go into DM earlier, essentially, right? He's just going to go there immediately now. So apart from that, it's exactly the same. Like I said, I don't want to change on any of this too much. All the concepts here are staying the same. And that is the kind of thing you might do, right? You might tweak your playing out shape against certain teams when your team is struggling to get out and that kind of stuff. And it's not that we can't get out and we're not dominating the ball. It's that when they are pressing us high specifically on these goal kicks, they're getting success. They are winning those battles. They're forcing us to go long. Our long balls aren't working. When we forced them long, their long balls did work. So it's not just about forcing your outcome. It's what is being successful. As this goes towards the far post, headed over the bar, let's make some changes as well. So Leif Davis has done his bit. He can come off, actually. Goodmanson can come on at left back. Good start from you, Leif Davis. We'll take off Basuma, and we're going to throw on Martinelli. And I think that'll do for the subs. We'll go with just the 4 in this match. Okay, play to the left-hand side into Aydin, who's going to play it now into Badanzi. We're getting the half-space wrong. It's not in the way that I would hope. It's quite deep in the pitch, and the pass wasn't ideal. But, yeah, referee. What's going on here, ref? Just send him off. It's a disgrace, this. Okay, late highlight here. Paulo Henrique gets it, plays it into Dominguez. Is he going to get the run that he needs from the half-space player? He's not. But he's going to be 1v1 now in the wide area. That's your time to execute. Go and execute that. Goodmanson gets it. Plays touching to Martinelli. Back into Stack. Goodmanson's going to try and go on it again. He's going to have a shot. I hope he doesn't. Stack could. Stack has a shot. It's taking a deflection. It's going to go wide. There's a highlight late on. I was already ready to say it's been a good tactical battle and a draw's probably a fair result. It's absolutely fun. But we've got a last-minute chance here, potentially. Goes into the box. Headed towards goal. And it's going to be a goal at the far post. Another header from Leeds United. It's a header at the far post. Curry with the header. That's going to be 1-0, and that should be the game over. But to see out the game, all I've done is I've gone time wasting up. I'm going to make him a central midfielder normal, and then he can become a tracker midfielder. So here it is, cross to the far post. Corey goes up, heads it towards goal. Brilliant header, 1-0. And that is going to do it. Another brilliant tactical performance from us. We won for the right reasons. We managed to stop them playing out to the point where they were just going long from a lot of goal kicks. We were able to stifle them in their playing out shape. We looked pretty secure defensively as well in our own third. The only chance they really got was that long ball from a goal kick. And then crucially, I think that the little tweaks we made into the players' positioning did help. I think the only thing I would maybe keep like as a permanent change would be maybe to put the width up to wide. And maybe we force the ball to the wingers as well. But yeah, the change of like the left back going to DM straight away instead of being a rotation, I'm not going to change that. That was for one specific game, and it was an in-game adjustment to our already set playing philosophy and pretty strict in possession philosophy. So that was not really a change at all. That wasn't an abandonment. It wasn't even really a tweak, was it? It was such a minor change. It just meant that he started at the DM rather than rotated in. And that's a really good illustration of using the tactic system where you can use, because it's in and out split, I can make that change, right? I can make him be a deep line playmaker in possession without that affecting him defending like a left back. It's such a good feature for this stuff, right? If you love tactics, this is just exactly what we've wanted for such a long time. That was really good. I was really happy with that. And I'm pleased that we won because I felt like we deserved it from the changes we made. I felt like we were the slightly better team. We probably didn't create enough to fully deserve it. If we would have drawn, I would have said fair enough. We didn't really create a lot. But we managed to get the win there, and it makes up a little bit for the last match that we had. So, yeah, I'm pleased. Right, that's that game out the way. We're going to go to play Spurs next in a week's time. They've had an okay start. They're looking all right. They've got a game in hand on us. So they might be on the same points as us when we go to play them. Yeah, let's see how we get on against Spurs. Let's see what formation they're going to play. And I'll take a quick look at their players that are available too. Okay, so before we get into the game against Tottenham, let's take a quick look at the league table. So far, you've got Liverpool top, who are undefeated, but with 3 draws, incidentally. Villa, Chelsea, and Arsenal making up the top 4. We are currently 8th. It's not the best time to show the league table, I don't think, because you've got some teams that have played 5, some teams have played 6, and then some teams have played 7. So there's quite a big spread in the fixture so far. So I wouldn't worry too much about the league table. Like if a City won, they're 2 games in hand on some teams, they're going to be onto our points. So they could only be 3 points behind Liverpool. It's not worth looking too closely at it, but I just thought I'd quickly show where we are. So at least gives you a reference point of how the start at least sort of is. 9 goals scored, 10 against so far for us with the 1 draw, 2 defeats, and 3 wins. Right. Tottenham, what they got for us then? What you got, Tottenham? Tottenham are going to play 4-2-3-1. That's okay. Expected tactical style is going to be control possession. And the expected team looks a bit like that. I mean, there's a lot of pace on that left-hand side of the back line, isn't there? So do we do something here where I know this isn't really part of what I've been doing, but do we try to deliberately attack the opposite side to that just so that we can get some 2v1s on the side that isn't full of absolutely loads of pace? Like, it's very quick, isn't it? What this screen is useful for as well, you can see they play only 2 formations in possession, or they've only played 2 so far. You've got the 4-2-3-1 followed up by the 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, however you like to prefer to say that. And then they've got the 4-4-2 and 4-2-3-1 out of possession, with the 5-3-2 being the out of possession equivalent of this one. So basically, if they play 4-2-3-1, they either play a 4-4-2 out of possession, or they play a 4-2-3-1. So yeah, they haven't actually started with the 3-5-2. They've switched to it in games, though. That is what they have done. And they've created 8 chances and had 5 against when they've switched to that. So just something to watch out for. They've also switched to a 4-2-3-1. So it looks like their starting formation is going to be 4-2-3-1 in, 4-4-2 out. So that's how they're going to line up against us. So basically, not too much to look at for the tactics board here, because basically everything I said before the last game is going to apply in this one. We didn't get to see hardly any of the stuff that I said because Bournemouth didn't really look to play out from goal kicks or goal kick type scenarios. If there was a free kick or something nearby, they'd also play long too. So we didn't get to see any of the things from the last match. So we're going to pretty much go straight into this one. We're not worried too much about the tactics board because it's going to be the same exact problem for us out of possession. Now in possession, I did make some changes, didn't I, to the tactic, at least from an in possession perspective in the last game. So, well, not a change. There were really small tweaks. We might, if we're getting pressed and we're struggling to play out from the back, we can just essentially then look to get our left back, who is the playmaker wing back, and start him into the DM position and looks a bit more like that kind of shape there. It's like a 3-2, but this guy has got a lot more license to go forward. He's not really part of the back 3, but it's gonna look like a 3-2, it's gonna look like a 2-3, and it might even look like a 2-2. Depending on the situation, it could be any of those, and I quite like that as well. It gives a bit of flexibility over on the right-hand side. In terms of the team, the only player that's going to change is Dan James going to get himself back into the squad. He's going to go on the bench. But apart from that, it's going to be exactly the same. So let's get into the game and see how we do against Tottenham. Okay, so I've changed a few things here, right? I've changed the goal kicks to mixed because that's really what I was saying before. That is really my philosophy of what I want is them to be mixed. But we're going to go slightly wider on team width and we're going to go progress down the flanks. And that's just so that we can get the pictures out a little more from what we're looking for, right? We want to get the ball into the wingers' feet. We want them to get onto the ball, then have runners going through the half spaces once we pin them back and get those. And we get those scenarios from there. But we need to build up the possession to get us into that scenario. Like if we're quite direct and it goes straight into the winger, and the attacking midfield player and the central midfield players are both quite far from the wide players in that scenario, we're not going to get those 2v1s. So we need to get the possession built up a little bit so that we can get our attacking midfield players into those situations before executing the like half-space runs and the 2v1s and all that kind of stuff. So we've got to be careful that we're not trying to be overly controlled and possession-based, but we can't be too transitional and direct and not have those moments and scenarios occur. So it's a bit of a balancing act. We're going to tweak it a little bit here and see how we can go. What I'm hoping on the mixed goal kicks is that occasionally he goes long and occasionally he plays short, and we'll see how that all plays out. So there's been a few tactical instruction changes there, but it's not like I'm really changing what I want. It's like I'm using a different combination and blend of instructions to get the same type of outcome with some small differences. I'm not changing the philosophy at all. We're making some small changes so that we can try and get our philosophy out in a slightly different way within the game, using the instructions as like the translation for how we're speaking to the players, right? So here we go then against Spurs. Let's see how we get on. We'll say the home advantage is important to us. Go out there and make it count. So we're going to ignore the journalists like we always do, and we're going to go into the match. And that is going to be our team. Let's see. Let's just confirm they're going to play the 4-2-3-1 like we think they are. Certain they are. And they do. So the analysis team did their job yet again. It's exactly as they predicted, or at least close enough. Okay, it's the first time in the game we've managed to get a touch of the ball. Let's see what we can do from this. I just want to see. Let's take a look at their pressing. Let's just take a quick look at their pressing structure here. So they've got in their... what they're playing. I actually didn't look at their out of possession formation. If that's their 4-4-2 and that's the way they're going to play, we're going to have to build through the centre here. Look at this. This is outrageous from them, isn't it? That is some serious... I mean, he's gone long against that. Surely there was something else you could have done with this. Right, we're going to change this. We're changing this for this game. Like, this is where you've got to be adaptable and see the situation, right? If that is how they are going to line up against us and press us, we are 100% going to go straight through the bloody middle. But because we're going into the middle, we still want players to hold width. We still want to go into those wide areas afterwards, right? We can progress through the middle, but then we need to get it wide. So to now compensate for that, again, I am changing team instructions, but it's to get the same idea out in a different way. We go through the middle, then to offset that, we're going to go much wider in the attacking width. And then goal kicks, we're going to go short. We're going to try and get this out every time. Okay, then, let's watch their press against us now, trying to play short from the back. Let's go tactical camera here. Yeah, I mean, like, what I'm thinking here is you can go centre back and go round. You can go straight to the middle. He's going to go left. Okay, I don't know about that goalkeeper. Leif Davis is going to go back round. This is fine as long as we get here now. Can we get it there? Good. Now, the winger is the target, really. Travel with it, now ping it into the winger. Attacking for play, you should be going up now already. A bit late, but better late than never, as they always say. Gnonto's got it. Basuma's just a little late to make those runs, isn't he? He's just I mean, do we go with 2 AMCs in possession? Is that what we do? My only concern with this, right, is I feel like he might be a bit too high too early. That is my only concern. I feel like that you can do that, right? But then you probably want to have your 3-2, if that's what you're going to build in, set as well from the goal kick. So if you do that, you sort of have to do this. And maybe you might even need to do that. And then make him an inverted inside fullback. So they start like a wide 3, and then it builds after that. We could try that, actually. That is essentially exactly the same thing. It's essentially the same thing. It's exactly the... So we're using the roles to really create the same exact pictures we had in the last game. It's just not looking slightly different. You've still got your 2 pivots, 2 centre-backs, and right back is still doing a bit of everything that he wants. You can go narrow, you can go wide. Do whatever he wants there. I think he's going to get it. He's going to cut back on the inside into the area. Goes in again. He's going to link up with somebody. Leif Davis gets it. Plays it into Basuma. Basuma into Balanzi. Back to Basuma. He's got to get a shot away. And he does. And it gets his old club. He makes it 1-0 to Leeds United. What a move that was. Maybe that change to put that AMC a bit higher is the way to go. That's 1-0. What a lovely, lovely goal from Leeds United. Aydin does some great, dangerous stuff on the left-hand side. Leif Davis in that playmaking wing-back position gets into Basuma. Little 1-2 between the AMCs. Basuma shoots. Basuma scores. 1-0. Right then, goal kick. Let's see it. Let's see the changes in action so you can see them with me here. So you're going to see how so you get this. What you see now is my back three are really spread because they're a genuine back three, and that's my two there. So my DM is actually, because he's the ball side, or he feels like he's the ball side, he's going to drop in just a bit shorter. That is Leif Davis there, and you can see how they've sort of got us man for man, but they're sort of sat off us, almost like baiting us into a trap. But I mean, Van der Voort, what you could do here is in one pass you go straight into Leif Davis and we're out if they do this. They're obviously worried about somebody because he's screening. But we're going to go there straight into Leif Davis. Go on. Yes, that's it. Now get out. Can we get out? Oh, Leif, what are you doing? It was here. Was it not? I just want to see this again. Did Leif Davis not have an absolutely open player to play this to? I guess he's sort of in the way, but in reality, just you know, assume a little drop, 5 yards in here, straight through, and we're out. But it's all right. It's all right. It could have been worse. Enrique doubles inside. Now, what we've got to be careful of, because it's a genuine back three, right, in possession in these early moments, it might be very wide, especially when I've got 14 width. So we've got to be careful what we do. Oh, my goodness me. What was Van der Voort doing there? We got away with it. It's going to be something to watch out for. But I'm liking Basuma's early position, though. He was all right there. Does he get back quick enough, though? Now he's got to go from AMC to sort of central field. Stacks just gone and absolutely smashed it. Cavaliers won the flick on. There's nobody with him, though. They've got a 2v2. Yeah, they've actually they've just done to us what we're trying to do to them. What a block that is! Ribeiro gets himself in there, makes up a little bit for the penalty he gave away. Baranzi gets it. He's going to travel with it. He's going to travel with the ball. He's going central. I think I like Basuma in this role here. I feel like he's more involved, don't you? Do you not feel like that way? Basuma into Gononto. Is he going to beat him? Oh, what? Off. That's got to be red. It has to be red. That is some of the best Italian defender I've ever seen, but that's got to be red. Come on, if it was my defender, I'd expect. Okay, okay, right. Let's just talk about this for a second here. Right, let's see if he was clearly through or not here. Let's see if he's clearly through. So we've done him. We've got the classic Pep Guardiola like out to in run once you get them in this sort of shape here. It goes in there. I mean, like he's kicked him and brought him to the floor here. Gononto is going to get to this ball first. And he's going to go straight through on goal. And he's going to have potentially 3 Leeds players to cut it back to if he chooses. I'm sorry, but that is a red card offence outside of the area. What are we doing here? We're getting done. That's a red. I'm sorry. I appreciate it as a coach. I love the fact that he decided, nah, not today, lads, and just taking him out. I do love it on some level, but I would expect a red card as the manager of Tottenham here. And they ain't going to get one. And if you're wondering how the free kick went, it went absolutely nowhere near the goal. Enrique gets it going towards half-time. There's only 30 seconds left. This could be an actual incident coming here. Gononto goes inside to Basuma. Basuma into Stack. Takes a touch into Leif Davis. It's very congested. I've noticed that since we've done this exact version of the tactic, it's very narrow and congested in these areas. And oh, what a little slide pass that was. And Basuma goes just wide. Half-time then, it is 1-0 to Leeds. We'll say, don't get complacent. It's been a pretty decent, I'd say, performance so far from the boys. Tottenham have the corner. They're going to whip in the corner now. It goes towards it. The far post is headed in. And it's 1-1 thanks to a set piece. Again, it's another corner to Tottenham after they've just scored one. It goes in towards the centre of the goal. It's headed away. Dan James gets it. Go on, Dan. Oh, it's deflected. What is that? I mean, that's hard to accept. That is 2-1. Finishes 2-1 to Tottenham from 2 corners. One directly, well, not directly, but it was a corner goal. And then the second one being a second phase corner. Not the best result, but it's hard to accept. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, what I've decided to do is this. I'm going to make the set piece coach be responsible for everything related to set pieces. Right now, I've got some of the things that I've done, some things that he controls. I'm going to give everything over to him, but then if we keep losing due to set pieces like we currently are, it is going to be all on him. Okay, so I was going to do a third match in this video, but I just feel like that with the time what it is, I want to try and get these videos out a tiny bit earlier if I can. I just thought I'd leave it for the next episode. Right, so I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody for their support so far on the videos. I really appreciate whether you've watched, commented, liked everything. Again, this is a personal channel. I have my full-time job. I also coach at an academy, so I don't have loads of time. So, you know, hopefully you enjoy what I give you in terms of the tactical stuff and the match engine stuff that we're looking at and how things are trying to, and how we're trying to create tactics in the match engine. Hopefully you enjoy that stuff. You're not going to get unbelievably great creative thumbnails. I can't really get an editor to edit my videos for multiple reasons. So yeah. Anyway, I just want to say that I appreciate all of your support and your viewership, because this is, you know, something that's very part-time for me. I just wanted to say thank you. I do genuinely appreciate it. And it's something that I wish I could do more of. It's just a factor of time, really. I can't really get enough time to do it. But I am right now anyway. Right now we've got time. We're going to get a video out every single day. So basically going forwards, what you can expect is 5 videos a week. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 days, maximum 3 where there's not. Usually it's going to be at least 5. And the days that there aren't videos will just depend on circumstance. I try to update where I can if I'm going to do a video or not. I do have a Discord channel that I'll probably post in. If you want to be a part of that, just to follow whether I'm going to upload or not, I'll try and post all my updates in there. So yeah, the timing and stuff just makes it a bit more difficult. But I just want to say thank you anyway. Thank you to all of you for watching it, and I hope you're enjoying the series. And like I said at the end of the first match, maybe it was, I do want some feedback on how to approach this season going forward. Do you want me to keep doing like every game, or do you want me to skip some as well? Maybe you want to see me play everybody once, and then we can skip some of the relegation battling teams that we play for a second time. We can skip those. Like we've got Burnley next, so I could just skip that game, for example. It's up to you really how you want this to go. I'm really enjoying this. It's really good fun. I've got so many ideas of stuff I want to do still, and I've not even gone into like player specific marking, opposition instructions. I'm just deliberately trying to use the in and out concept on its own to try and get out the ideas that we want. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series, and I'll see you all, of course, next time.